Woohoo! I'm live. Yay. You want to just talk to my left half of my face? Or would you like to talk to the right as well? Oh my God. All right, I guess that's good enough. Hey, everybody. I'm sorry, but I'm kind of sick of the world. People, as usual. You know. So, I just made a little comment that I'll share with you. I told someone that she could start her own Facebook group where she's just loving and kind to people. And in return, they'll just sit there and eat donuts. And that's just kind of how it is, you know. People are so lazy, you know, that if you don't force people to do something, they won't do anything. They'll just sit there. And that's just kind of the world that we live in, you know. People are sheep, they're lazy. And so for me, I get to this point of where I just want to seek out the people that have it together. Because I think that I get lonely and I get tired and sick of average people, you know? And I'm not just talking about poor people, I'm talking about the wealthy too. They're also just as sick. And what can you do? You can do art. You can just be with God. You can just sit and make money doing something. You can sit on a live YouTube video and complain about it all. Yep, and that is my goal for the evening. And so if you want to sit here and listen to me complain about people, you're in the right place, by God. Welcome. Write down a complaint of your own in the chat box right there. If you're pissed off at people, if you're just sick of whatever people, developers, Donald Trump and Jared Kushner and Ivanka and trying to buy land and create developments. It's comical how sick people are. Look, if you look at Donald Trump, if you were to smell Donald Trump, you would think to yourself, why is he engaging more in these kinds of activities when what he needs to be doing is eating some vegetables? Hey, Qualcomm. What's up with that name, Joe? Why can't you just be Joe? Just be Joe. Not Qualcomm. That's what they named the stadium in San Diego, Qualcomm. So yeah, you would think that stinky fat people would just stop with wanting to make the world more sick, more polluted, driving their cars, creating these industrial complexes, etc., all these different things that they do to make more pollution. and start working on cleansing their own bodies before they're dead. They're going to be dead pretty soon. Trump, he's full of bacteria and viruses, worms, and they're going to eat him. And then he's just going to have to take more drugs. And pretty soon he's going to be deader than a doornail. And I know that a lot of you are wanting that. But you know what? The sooner people get their acts together and start thinking about the number one thing, which is health, the sooner they'll be living longer and not needing to go to doctors for drugs and having the worms eat them. So, yeah, that's the reality of the world we're living in. People have their priorities all effed up. They don't know what's important. People that have 1 or 2 or 3 kids already, they go and they get knocked up again. What are they thinking? Who knows? God only knows. They just keep fucking. They just keep fucking without thinking. All you have to do is go get yourself a lady comp fertility monitor and stop making babies. All you have to do is stop signing on the bottom line and getting yourself into more debt. I know. It's really sad and stupid, but you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh at people and the way they live their stupid lives. And Presidentia Sheinbaum spending more on important things and not managing the country's finances. Well, it kind of all goes around, you know. I think the rich people, their mindset is that I earned this money and I can spend it on anything I want to, right? And what they want to spend the money on is stupid things that don't make sense. I guess it makes them happy, but you know, the things that make them happy, if those things are toxic, well, the person is toxic. You know, how many of you think that we need to go to Mars? When you see those big rockets burning shitloads of fuel to go off to the moon for something, how many of you think that that's good for our planet, that we really need to spend all of that money to do that? If you have spirituality, look, I got this little book at one of the Rainbow Festivals in 93. It was 93, right? No, 03. You know, I'm old. I can't even remember. Like, was it 83? Was it 93? Anyways, I've had this book since 03. Yeah. I still can't remember when it was. A long time. Easy Journey to Other Planets. Okay, and it says in there that through yoga, you can go to other planets, like telepathically. And you know, I try to do that with my prayers, the prayers I say sometimes. Sometimes I'll just bless the food, you know, Lord, please bless the food. Thank you so much. Da, da, da. But other times I'll focus on sending my soul into the ethers of space and envision being in the Pleiades or something of that nature. And that is because I am a more advanced being that gets sick of living in this world. That's why. And, you know, I'll admit, sometimes I think that the inventions are kind of cool. the flying inventions and this and that. But the reality is that anything that's extreme, we don't really need it. What we need oftentimes is just a simple phone call. Instead of emailing back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and wondering, this and that and wasting a lot of time, all you got to do is pick up the fucking phone, dial the number, and call me. We'll talk it over for 5 minutes and then that's it. It's over with. No more emailing for days and days and days. When you talk to somebody on the phone, like the good old way, remember telephones? A landline that always works. My landline, it works every time. It never cuts out. There's never any BS. Okay? I just talk to the person for a few minutes. I know what they're thinking. I know what they're doing. We get a whole lot of information exchanged, a shitload. We get a shitload of information exchanged over a 2, 3, 4, 5 minute period of time. It's over with. We know exactly what the other person was thinking, feeling, what their voice sounded like, everything. But the emails, no. Those are a pain in the ass, if you ask me. Most of the time, they're not near as effective and efficient as just calling on the phone. Okay? But in the world we live in, people don't want to do that. They don't have the time. They think that it's going to be easier by just email or text, right? Not usually. Not usually. People don't even get the emails or texts. When you call somebody and you talk to them, they got it. They got the message. So there's just so many things in this modern world that, guess what? We're going to go back to the old way. Thank God. But here's the deal. How long will it take before people figure out that the old ways are better? How long will people have to play games with Windows 11 till they're like, man, I'm really sick of this. I'm just going to go back to Windows 7, not 10, Windows 7. I'm still using my Windows 7 in there a lot of the time. If it had better security, I'd use it for this all the time. Okay, let's see what Joe has to say. I first came here and I wanted Tonesies as a new Tazani as a username, which means fetch in Nahachi, Aztec. Tazani was used Qualkai was free. Years ago, glasses, maybe it's your massage, eating right, sleeping well, thankfully, no more 4 eyes. Remember, I passed priority. Skype session with you, and a phone call would be just as good. Okay, so I have all of this amazing, valuable information to share with people on natural diet, which is the real deal. Okay, so natural diet is one of the most important foundations for health. Foundation for health. How many of you, there's 5 of you watching me, how many of you eat a natural diet? Okay. If you're a subscriber to my channel and you've watched me for very long, you would think that you understand the importance of natural diet and that you are a practitioner of natural diet. Are you? See, the reason I asked that is because it's very likely that a lot of people that are watching this and watch it in the future are not, even though they've been watching me for years or decades. And so for me, it's comical. How is it that reality? How can that be real? How can that be true? Are you insane? Are you out of your minds? Are you just stupid? For what reason could it be that you watch my videos, but you're not a holistic health practitioner with a foundation of natural diet? Don't look at me. I tell you everything that I've learned. I told you about meat, right? I told you about wheat. I told you about dairy. I told you about processed foods. I told you about peanuts and soy. So you should at least be working on that all of that. And if you're not, I really, in all honesty, don't know why you watch me. So I'm trying to start a group, a Facebook group, where I can find somebody out there you would think is a holistic health practitioner similar to me. And that includes an understanding of natural spirituality as well, not a tunnel vision spirituality like a lot of people have, most people have. It's our group, we're the only ones. We're the only country, we're the only religion, we're the only whatever pro football team. So sometimes I think, well, it must be me. It must be me that I'm insane. I'm out of my mind. It's not everybody else. How could I be living like I'm living, but nobody else wants to live this way naturally? How does nobody else get it? How is that even possible that other people don't get it, that you should eat and live and everything else naturally? When you post a profile picture, so you'll notice that my profile picture on YouTube and on Facebook and any other thing that I'm on is my happy, smiling face. It's always the same thing. My current, happy, smiling face with no alterations. There's no makeup. There's no piercings. There's no tattoos on my forehead or anything. It's just plain me. And I always have a decent haircut. That's it. Me. What you see is what you get. So you'd think that that would be the default, right? But that's not what it is. Other people don't put their profile picture, as their own smiling natural face. Not very many, only a small percentage of people. So don't look at me. I don't know. I have no idea what's in people's heads. I'm just going along. Something happened to my facial brush. Where did it go? I do not know. I really need my facial brush right now. But it has floated away. Like, oh, it was hiding under the Easy Journey to Other Planets book. So last night at this time, I was in pain, having a migraine, a full moon migraine. It's part of my regular life to have migraines. And for 24 hours, I am in pain. And I just lay there, right there, in pain. I get up to piss, I get up to shit, I get up to throw up for 24 hours. Actually, it doesn't take that long of doing all of that. The last 8 hours is pretty much just sleeping and recovering. But that is part of natural healing. They call it a migraine. It's a healing crisis. You can call it whatever you want. But after I'm through it, I will have cleaned out a bunch more bacteria and chemicals, parasites, viruses, more and more of it every time I have one of those. It's a cleansing of the bod, immune system kicking in, doing its job to dump kidneys and liver working their asses off to get rid of a bunch more toxins. Okay. I feel better. Brushed my teeth, brushed my hair, brushed my face. Now I need to scrape my back. Yeah, that little song, that was from Mr. Magoo. Does anybody remember Mr. Magoo? Joe, do you remember Mr. Magoo? Maybe it's from something else. Thanks, Joe. 78.79 Mexico money. Yeah, $5. I could buy some coffee with that. So, what would you like to talk about, my friends, today? Now that I've gotten all the shit out of my head in regards to people, how lame they are, I'll tell you about my new sewing machine. I just got my table home a couple days ago, and I made a video. I haven't posted it yet. I'll probably post it tomorrow. I got sidetracked with the migraine headache. But I did go down and pick up the new sewing table from my woodworker guy that made it for me. And I brought it home, and the next day I cut the piece out of it to be able to put the head, the sewing machine head into the table. And I got it to fit really good. And I put a rope on the treadle part of the table. It's a treadle sewing machine, no electricity. You run it with your feet, treadle, like that. And I'm waiting for the leather belt to arrive. And after I get it hooked up to the treadle, then it will run and I can use it instead of the electric one. As long as I'm using that electric sewing machine, I'm zapping myself with electricity constantly. And I think that that's part of the reason for the tension. Yeah, it's an old machine. No, when you get a migraine, you can't digest anything, Joe. Nothing's going down. And so you can take meds all you want, but you'll just throw them up because the valves close off and you can't digest anything. You won't absorb anything. Your body digestion shuts down. So, yes, last fall, I bought a 51 Singer 1588 treadle sewing machine. It was a part treadle, but it did have an electric motor with it that came with it. So you could do both. You could do either or. And I wanted to create a nice big table just for that machine that was the size like of that one. See that one there? That's a 6 foot long, 72-inch long table and 32 inches wide. This one that I just bought, had him make for me. It's pretty much the same size, but all oak frame, nice oak legs. And I went and picked it up at his shop, along with another new massage tool invention that I'll be unveiling soon. And I took the head of the machine out of the old table. The old tables were meant for to be a furniture piece. It's a 1951 Singer, right? And they're meant to fold underneath the table, and then it looks like a table, a furniture piece. I have no need for something that transforms into a furniture piece. What I need is a machine with a great big table, 6 foot long by 2.5 foot wide table, so that I can sew pillows all day on it. A production machine, not a household furniture thing. but the heads of these tables are solid steel and they weigh about 50 pounds, and they were developed over a long period of time. It's the 100-year anniversary Singer machine. So they developed it for 100 years. So it's a great treadle sewing machine. And it's the original machine that all machines today probably were patterned after. That Japanese sewing machine, after Japan lost the war, they're like, okay, we'll take this Singer and try and improve upon it. And they kind of did, but whatever. The old treadle machine with a wheel on it that I can put a belt on, and then a big treadle thing on underneath. That's what I want. No electricity. Human leg powered, totally leg powered. And it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. I already tried it with just a rope, and the rope slips. I just used a jute rope. I put it around it and tried it out. And it goes pretty darn fast with just a rope that's slipping. Wait till I get a good leather belt on there like my other one. This will be my second treadle machine. I've got a cobbler machine in there too, and it's nice. The cobbler machine that I have in there is worth at least $1,500. It's a nice machine. And they're very valued because those are not, they didn't make near as many. They make gazillions of those home machines. Those home machines, there's a gazillion of those out there because they're solid steel, you know. They were passed down from your grandma to your mom to you. So there's a zillion of them still out there. But there's only so many 1588s. And that's the most valued one. And I got a 51. 100-year anniversary. It's cool. It's a cool machine. And it's in good shape. And the treadle is in good shape. And now it's in a really nice table. Wait till you see it. So, anyways, I should be getting the belt for that soon. And then after I've gotten that, I just need to finish the table. I'm going to put shellac on the top, and all of the rest will be tung oiled. The top needs to be a harder finish. So I'm going to put about 3 or 4 coats of shellac on the top. And I had to order some more shellac because I'm just about out. So I'm expecting buttons to come in the mail. Shellac is a substance that's made in trees by bugs in India. I know, it's kind of weird, huh? But yeah, the lac bug, I believe it's called, makes this gooey substance that's kind of like tree sap. And they heat it up and drop it into buttons, they call them. Buttons, they're about that big. They have to clean the sticks and debris out of the lac until it's pure enough. Then they overdo it and they process it too far. See, I used to build guitars, and I learned what the natural, the pure, but not, it's got to be cleaned decent enough. And decent enough is as far as you want to go. You don't want to take the wax out of it. You don't want de-waxed shellac. Then it becomes unnatural. They do all, you can take damn near anything in this world and refine it to get an unnatural product. You only want it refined a little bit to where it's clean. Specifically with shellac, you want to get the sticks and debris out of it. That's it. That's all you want to do. You don't want to take any of the natural, God-given parts out of the shellac. And so regular shellac buttons, and they're a dark, dark orange, that's what you want. And all you do is you get it and you mix a certain amount of it. You have to weigh it, and you mix that with pure alcohol. And I'm not talking about alcohol from the store, denatured. Okay, that's another one of these things. Denatured alcohol. Why would you want to put some toxic chemical in the alcohol to make it denatured? I'll tell you why. So that people that can go and buy denatured alcohol in the pharmacy and not have to worry about people drinking it, because whatever they put in the denatured alcohol will make you sick. So they have to do all of these things to compensate for stupid idiocy. People that drink alcohol. Dumb shit. People that drink alcohol. You don't drink fucking alcohol. Why do people do all this shit? Alcohol is for making shellac. It's also for sanitizing things and various other natural things. So anyway, so you mix the shellac with alcohol, and it takes about 3 days for the shellac to completely dissolve into the alcohol. Do you want to see what it looks like? I'll show you. I don't know if you can really see this, but maybe. Well, it's a dark orange color. That's shellac mixed with alcohol. But when it comes to you, they're just dark orange. They call them buttons. They're about that big. And sometimes they'll take the buttons and stamp them with their particular stamp of production. But it's all from India, and it comes from the lac bugs or the lac trees, LAC. You can learn all about the specifics of it. But then after you make that, get that, you can get it as smooth as you want, as thick as you want, as polished as you want. If you're doing something really fancy like a guitar, like I used to do, you can do French polishing. And it takes God knows how many coats on a guitar to get the finish thick, you know? And how much, and the polishing, it's just crazy how much time you can spend French polishing a guitar to get the finished thick. But it's so much better than lacquer. Okay, so what they put on guitars and instruments now, what would we do without our six-legged friends? Yeah. So, what was I just going to say? I learned that I'm kind of skipping around here. The best coffee, how to make good coffee, is by getting just the right amount of beans, grinding just the right amount of beans for the amount of water that you're using, the strength, in other words. So if you make it too strong, most of the coffee that you get at wherever, it's too strong for my liking. Why the hell do they make coffee so dark black? It's way too strong. I like it so that it looks like a nice amber color. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like the shellac. Yeah, kind of just about like that, except like, you know what I mean? You can see through it a little bit. It's not too dark. But in any case, so all the instruments today, they have just this lacquer, and I don't know what it's made out of, but it's not a very natural, it's not a natural finish. It's probably made out of some petroleum, chemicals, etc., etc. And anything that's mass produced like that generally is. And the natural things are always better. They always feel better. They always look better. And then when you go to throw them away, they just dissolve back into the earth naturally, and they don't kill the animals, they don't kill the bugs, they don't kill the birds, they don't kill the trees, etc., etc. So when these shoes, when I'm done with these shoes, when I'm done with these shoes and I throw them away, there won't be anything causing grief to the planet. That's because these are all natural shoes. The soles, everything about these shoes is totally handmade and natural. And these will last a lot longer than most shoes. 5, 10 times longer. And I can custom make them to be whatever I want. So Joe's funny. You know, I like Joe because Joe participates. You'll notice that Joe is like the only one that's writing anything in the comments there. There's 11 people watching this. You'd think that somebody besides Joe would participate. Okay, so you're looking at a participator. When I watch a video, I'll almost always give a thumbs up. Once in a while, I give a thumbs down. About half the time, I make a comment in the comments section. How many people out of 100 are as good of a participator as I am? Few. Very, very few. So what our world needs is people that participate in life. Think about it. If everyone actually did something, then the world would function better, theoretically. The problem is if you have a bunch of dumbasses participating, then it could be worse. So I mean, it's possible that you guys should just stay quiet. I don't know, because I don't know who's watching this. All I know is that Joe is cool, because Joe always makes good comments. He's always, you know, helping me out with good, what's the word? Made a donation a little while ago. So anyways, here I sit all broken-hearted, you know. You guys like that picture right there? No. That one? Can you see that picture? With my feet on Karen's shoulders, and I was stretching her arms up while she's on the massage table. So check it out. I have this new interesting thing that happens to me here. I'll be laying here like yesterday or this morning, I'm in pain, right, from my migraine. And all of a sudden I hear this little voice. Are you feeling any better? It's the 5-year-old standing right here at the window, right? The window's open, it's warm outside. And I see this little blonde head popping up over the top of the window. He's just tall enough to be able to look over the window right there. Are you feeling any better? Yeah. I'm like, barely. And you know, yeah, I got kind of disgusted with people today. I hope that I'm over my angst. It comes and goes. It comes and it goes. And I think that I've been getting really bored with the world. Because I'll look through videos and I'll look through videos and I'll look through videos and I'll be like, None of that's worth a crap. I don't want to watch any of that. I'll turn it on the news, right? And I'll watch all the previews for all the little segments that they're going to show. And I'll be like, I don't want to watch any of that either. So pretty much all of that, like, I'll give you some examples. The Iran war, blah, 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 blah. Russia, blah, 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 blah. ICE, blah, 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 blah. What else? Shootings, blah, 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 blah. Shark attacks, blah, 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 blah. Plane crashes, blah, 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 blah. Anything to do with airlines, blah, 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 blah. What else? Another chemical explosion, blah, 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 blah. A big car pile up, blah, 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 blah. Some dude pushed his wife off the boat intentionally, blah, 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 blah. Serial killers, blah, 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 blah. All of that, blah, 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 blah. Same human bullshit, the same human crap constantly. Jared Kushner developing another bullshit development in Slovenia or wherever the hell it was. Blah, 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 blah. Just let the world, let humans destroy themselves. Get it over with. That's what I say. Get it over with. The Republicans, the Democrats, blah, 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 blah. That's what I think. As soon as somebody actually does something worth a shit, you know, once in a while you'll find something good at the end of the news, some good story about somebody that actually did something that's worth a shit. All of the rest of it is just a bunch of extremist bullshit. Yin yang, yin yang, yin yang, yin yang. I hate you. Da, 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 da. It's the same old shit. It's the same old shit. A bunch of protesters, angry people at ICE, whatever. So, if I think about the good things that are going on in my life, man, I think my body is really getting used to, for long periods of time, very little, almost zero electricity in the air. Because I turned the 2 breakers off. I've kind of fixed the electricity thing in here in the apartment pretty good now. And I know that basically I can just turn the 2 breakers off at night, and that completely cuts out all electricity in the living room and that wall right there. And my bed is right against that wall. So when I flip those 2 breakers, there's no electricity, and there's no electricity coming to this computer right here. Now there's electricity over there, lots of it. I can't control that wall because that wall is mine and the next door neighbors, and there's nobody in there yet. It's still being renovated. She hasn't done anything on it for a month. So energetically, that apartment is completely neutralizing right now, and that's very, very good. And it should be very interesting to see who moves in there. But electrically, when I sleep for 8 hours or more, however much, I am in a totally electrically dead, peaceful place. And I'm getting used to that more and more. And pretty soon, I'll be sewing for hours a day on a totally zero electric sewing machine. And when I'm doing that, I'll just keep those breakers off in the living room. I wish I could show you that machine here, but it's in the living room. That table and machine is in the living room. And I'll just completely turn off those two breakers when I'm working in there, at least when it's warm in the summer. I'll have to figure out something. What I'm probably going to do is swap tables and put that table in here for the winter so that I can sew in here with no sewing machine that projects electricity. And for those of you that don't know how I know, I have 2 meters, and the 1 meter tests your body, and the other meter tests the air. The tri-field meter, it tests the air, and that's really sensitive. And so, yeah, when there's the best thing is not to just ground yourself, but to actually use a machine that doesn't use any electricity at all, a treadle machine. So I can take that machine out on the grass. I can take it in the middle of the desert. I can take it in a tent, anywhere, and sew with it with no electricity, zero. Okay, so check that out. Listen to that. Think about that. I'm now washing my clothes in a bucket. Zero electricity. There you go, another thing eliminated. The more I can eliminate all of these things and I like washing clothes now. I like washing clothes and hanging up clothes just with human power. Now I'm going to be able to sew with just human power. And for those of you that want to know how reliable this machine is, here, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. There you go. It's probably weighs about 50 pounds. 50 pounds of solid steel. That is a machine that pretty much never breaks. It's just a big, solid steel machine. And the gears, solid, heavy steel. So it's never going to break. Okay, I'll show you the treadle. Check out this treadle. Can you see that? See if I can show you this. So the treadle goes like this. Can you see that? You push your foot up and down like so, spins that wheel. The wheel is connected to a belt that runs that sewing machine. And it's cool as shit, my friends. And it's heavy, seriously heavy. This thing weighs about 60 pounds, 70 pounds. Your little blonde 5-year-old friend while you were across from Jessica. Certainly don't make stuff like they used to, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. They make things in the mass for the masses. But, you know, it's good to be me and like things that are natural. So, you know, if everyone liked natural things, then they wouldn't be near as available. They would cost a lot more. Everything has to transform. We're in a crazy transformative period of human evolution. Crazy. And I was listening to an astrologer talk about this today. And the changes that are coming to us right now. See, because there's no way that humanity can sustain under the current circumstances. There's no fucking way. It is totally not going to work. It won't work. It simply won't work for people to drive cars like this every day. That resource, it's going to gradually diminish. Today, Iran said that they're cutting out negotiations. They're cutting out negotiations. So there you go. Thank God, 20% of the world's oil is now offline. Yay! And all of that oil that was coming out of Russia, yahoo, that's going away too, because Ukraine's just going to keep pounding their asses. Perfect. Perfect. So what we need is $5, $6 a gallon gas. And the more people get pounded with that, hopefully rent will come down. Hopefully the rent prices will come down. But the rent prices are for sure going to come down for me, because the plan is to buy some land and do it where there's no building codes and build my own little house, natural house, and continue my business and just do my thing. I might even, you know, I'm probably going to get the solar, the whatchamacallit, internet from what's his name. I can't even think of the name of it now. The satellite internet, not HughesNet, the new one, Starlink. Yeah. So it's expensive, but when you can get rid of all the other expenses, then the $125 a month for Starlink isn't a big deal. I've already got enough electricity just out of my car to run whatever I need. That one deep cycle, that one Now I'm forgetting things all of a sudden. My brain. It's amazing that I can think at all today with the migraine that I had last night. Oh my God. Crazy. But that battery, that new deep cycle battery that I got in the car for my solar, that my solar panel runs, that thing is so strong. It's amazing. It'll probably run my fridge for 2 weeks with no sun straight. And it's generally pretty sunny here. But it's so nice when you go on a trip to have a refrigerator, an AC/DC refrigerator. But yeah, I have what's it called? The new batteries, the lithium. I've got a new lithium battery. And not only are they a lot more powerful than the old deep cycle batteries, but they're about less than half as heavy. That was one of the things that really sucked about the old batteries too. They were really super heavy. And check it out. I'll show you another thing that I got into it many years ago, rechargeable batteries, but I got out my old charger and bought all new ones now. And I'm going to be doing a lot of spending time listening to music and stuff outdoors. And so I decided to buy some rechargeable C batteries for my little player. So it's pretty cool that I can just take this, right, and plug this iPod into it. And I've got like many, many gigs of music. That are supposed to be playing. There's some kirtan music. And I've got rechargeable batteries, so it's really nice to be able to go anywhere. I can just go out on the lawn and listen to some kirtan and do some stretching and enjoy the music and the birdies. And keeping it simple. And I'm not counting on any kind of a relationship with my neighbor. She's all right. She's just a neighbor. She's the kid's mother, and it's all good, etc. But she's not into natural health. Okay. And so for me to think that anything could come from that would be nuts. So the only way that I can have a relationship with someone is if they're into natural health, and not just into natural health, but they are real natural health practitioners. A real natural health practitioner does natural eating. Natural eating is one of the foundations of a natural health practitioner. Just like real spirituality and not a tunnel vision spirituality is the foundation, also another foundation for natural health. There are many things. There are not a lot of things that are the basic foundation things, but those two things are definitely foundation things. And so Yeah, self-massage and stretching are also right there. Because see, when you change your diet, when you start to get healthy, your body is going to have pain in certain areas. And if you don't know how to massage and stretch those areas, you're going to be totally okay. So, yeah, there are many tools in your tool bag if you do natural healing, but those are the ones that you know how you have tools that you grab more than other tools? Like for instance, a Phillips screwdriver, a medium-sized Phillips screwdriver. You need a medium-sized Phillips screwdriver a lot of the time. Scissors. Scissors, especially for sewing, but also for everything. I have a pair of these in my kitchen. I have a pair in my car. Scissors are everywhere. Needle nose pliers. You need needle nose pliers. A hammer. You need a hammer. Basic tools. Okay. So there are tools that you only use once in a great while for holistic healing, and there are tools that you use every single day. So every single day, you should be eating lots of fruits and vegetables. If you're not eating lots of fruits and vegetables every single day, you're not a holistic health practitioner. If you're not doing some self-massage and stretching every day, these are foundational things. You are not a holistic health practitioner. And if you're not connecting with God, talking and, praying, whatever you want to call it, every single day, you are not a holistic health practitioner. There's more too. There's lots more. But those are the tools, the most often required tools that you use all the time. So, let's see. The reality of the world that we live in is that it has to change to survive. Humans, anyway. All the birds, they're going to be doing pretty much the same things for the next thousands of years. They are also evolving, but they are not needing to change back towards the natural because they have not gotten out of the natural. They're still doing natural things. Humans, on the other hand, are not. And they are going to have to get back to some state of natural living a lot more than the fake living that they're doing now. Because the more they sit on those couches, the more slumped over they get. And the more slumped over they get, the more in pain they are going to get. It's likely that the more slumped over your spine is getting, the less you're able to communicate, pray, etc., with creation. Because your body is probably set up naturally. When your spine is straight up and down, it's probably a natural good transmitter and receiver of vibration and thoughts. And when your body is clogged with gunky foods and your posture is all fucked up, you're probably not near as good of a transmitter and receiver of energy. And the more people get out of whack in so many different ways, the more sick they're getting. They're not able to receive the messages from creation. They think that everything is a coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidences. There's a reason and a purpose for everything. But they start listening to science, right? Well, there's no scientific evidence for that. For that humans are transmitters and receivers of energy. where's the studies? Show me the proof. There are people out there, you've seen them, you've heard them saying, show me the proof, right? Those are the same people that buy into Blue Cross Blue Shield and think that that's real health care. Right. Keep eating your dairy foods because you're going to need that. Keep eating your wheat and processed foods and mass-produced junk meat, Cornish cross chicken breed, and you're going to need all of that. Honestly, people are going to need all of that because the more mass-produced everything that they do, the more clogged they're going to get, and the more cancer they're going to get, and the more sick they're going to get. And they're going to need medical intervention. Yahoo. I just did my migraine and shit out a bunch more bacteria and puked out some stuff and did some hot baths. And that's how I get out the gunk. So, let's see, what else? So I was saying that we're going to have to endure a lot of changes. So that's why I continue to work on my health and my lifestyle, because I know that the simpler everything is for me, then the better I'm going to be able to deal with when they tell me that they're locking everyone down again. Okay, that's it. You can't go anywhere. You have to wear a mask everywhere you go. And all of this kind of crap. There's no more gas. So we're going to have electrical rations. The electricity is only going to be on for 1 hour a day. I can't wait till hear all of the shit that's going to go down while people, what's the word? While people are getting used to all of these changes that are going to have to be made in order for humanity to survive. But all of the same things that were in the past are available to us again. Like, for instance, root cellars. So when there's no electricity, right, and your fridge doesn't have any power, like remember when we had Hurricane Helene and there was no electricity here? And so I had to take I had some frozen meat. I had a whole bunch of frozen sardines in my freezer. And I took them all over to my neighbor's house because he did have electricity because he had a generator. He's got a big generator, right? And he can run that generator on natural gas. And the natural gas lines never stop. That was costing him a fortune to run everything off natural gas. It was like a lot. But he did have that option. And so luckily I had the ability to take all of that fish over and put it in his freezer in his basement. But if we didn't have that, what would we do? Well, all that fish would have been totally nothing. It would have all rotted, right? But you could still keep food in a root cellar. And so I did have, do you remember how I put that cooler in the ground? I dug out a hole and I put a Coleman cooler in the ground. And then I just put a bunch of cool stuff in there. So that option is always available to everyone, just like hand washing clothes. All you need is water and a freaking bucket. Okay. And you start to get back to doing natural things, because as soon as the fancy conveniences are history, like gasoline and electricity, and when those two things are gone, then you have to go back to figuring out how to get your needs met by other natural means. And so I'm working on doing all of that and learning how I can actually enjoy it, doing things naturally anyway. If you can actually enjoy, like I was today, when I put this shirt on, I smelled it and I'm like, hey, that smells totally way better. Every time I put on clothes or use a towel, like, you know how when you hang up towels and on a line, people will say, well, they're all stiff. Mine aren't. You know why? Because I'm using Bronner's soap. If I use Bronner's soap and I wash them naturally by hand in a bucket and then rinse out the soap good and then hang them on a line, they're not stiff at all. These are totally soft. So I figure the reason was either because of the soap not getting washed out of the clothes, like the natural, the detergent. Like I was buying 7th generation detergent before. For whatever reason, either that was not getting washed out of the clothes sufficiently, or the action of wringing the clothes, maybe that's getting the clothes cleaner and or for something, I don't know. But the clothes are not, and the towels are not stiff like they were before from hanging on a line. I like washing clothes by hand now. It's exercise. So all I have to do, like, think about it. People go to the gym and they do all of these things, right, to get exercise. On a farm or in natural conditions where you don't have all of these inventions like washing machines or dishwashing machines, all these different machines that do things for people nowadays. If you can figure out some kind of a hand thing that gets you the exact same results and gets you exercise that you would have done anyway. Think about how much could be done if you were to put all of the energy that people put into those exercising machines at the gym. If you were to put all of that energy into things that need to be done, all kinds of things that are done by machines, but you could actually do them by hand, then you just bypass all of the bullshit. You don't need the gym. You don't need all those machines. You don't need all the machines that do the work. All you need is simple machines, simple tools, and your own body, and you get the exercise and you bypass all the bullshit. And you enjoy nature and you feel good. There, everything's fixed. So yeah, I really enjoy hand washing the clothes because I learned that I can do big items by holding the bottoms with my feet and then just twist the tops. And now watch it, like my body, after I wash a bunch of clothes, like I washed a bunch of big sheets the other day, right? And I'm twisting. I'm like going like this, twisting, twisting, twisting those sheets. And for 2 days, my whole body was sore, right? And feeling my whole shoulders and all my back muscles are sore. So what happens when everything in your body, all your muscles get sore? They're building and you crave more protein foods. And after a couple of days, guess what? You've got more muscle on your body. So guess what? After a month or 6 months or a year of washing clothes and doing other things naturally, you're going to see Brett get stronger and stronger and stronger and sexier and healthier, everything. That will get bigger. I'm skinny now, but I'll get stronger. I'm fairly strong. Getting there. But see, the whole body has to cleanse out, you know? It's not just a matter of, like, people think that they should just, what they're trying to do is just get muscle on their body. They're not cleansing out their digestive systems. They just keep eating that junk chicken and junk pork and junk turkey, and probably the beef too, is all genetically messed with to grow fast and fat. As long as they continue to eat all of that shitty meat and all of that rest of that processed food, they're not getting healthier. They may be putting on muscle. So what? That's not health. Having more muscle isn't good health. They're living in LA and they're breathing all of those fumes, and they're driving their car every day on I-5 traffic, I-15 traffic, 805 traffic. I lived there. I know all those freaking freeways, Highway 1, etc., etc. So, yeah, if you're not walking the walk, the more you drive a car, the more you're breathing fumes. I had to do it to drive down to get that sewing table the other day, and I hate it. It's totally dangerous. One of my brake cylinders blew the other day, and my car, I cannot drive it for a few more days until the guy comes here and fixes that. And so there's just all of these things with an automobile that can break. Now, thank God I've got a Toyota Corolla, an older Toyota Corolla that's more simple. It's a simpler vehicle. It still has a computer in it, though. But hopefully that will keep going for me. But there's all of these things in this world that are just aching, dying, on the brink of ending. These things that are not sustainable, like these sewage systems and the water systems. So they just replaced all the water pipes in this whole town, my whole town. They got a grant from the government, right? They got a grant from Helene. There's all this federal money that after Hurricane Helene, they were able to get a grant for my town, and they're using that money to replace all of the pipes, the water pipes in the town. And pipes underground and lines, power lines on poles, a lot of that, especially the power lines, is not very sustainable. It's not very durable against, we saw what happened to the lines when Hurricane Helene hit. I mean, the shit was destroyed. And you see that in California from the fires. You see how the lines are creating the fires. And so there's so much problematic crap with all of that. After all the electricity was gone after Hurricane Helene, I was one of the only people in this town that had electricity. And the reason is because I have a solar panel on my hood and a deep cycle battery in the car and an inverter. And so that day, I just pulled my car around, I ran an extension into the apartment, and I was sewing within 15 minutes. Now I have a lithium battery in the car. I could run all of this stuff off my car battery and the power of the sun every day, and they're supposed to be really durable too. So that's just another thing that, like, I just try to figure out things that I really enjoy and that are more sustainable, and do it that way instead of the insane ways, you know? And the people are getting themselves into deeper and deeper shit for I don't know how many years, or at least since COVID hit, and I saw how much houses were going for around here. I was like, "Are you really gonna pay that much for the mortgage on the house and then pay double that for the interest? Are you really gonna do that? You're out of your fucking mind." You know? 300 grand for this house a couple blocks from here? A couple of them, right? Went for 300 grand. One of them is like ridiculous. A two-bedroom brick house right next to the road and right across the street from the farmer's market. They have to listen to all those concerts down there constantly. You couldn't pay me to live down there. I would way rather live in this apartment 2 blocks away where it's more peaceful. And so I just wonder about, like, why are people getting themselves into the muck deeper? Watch, all of the prices are going to come down now. My business is dead as a doornail compared to how it usually is. Right now I have 2 orders to fill. This time last year, I'd have had at least 6, 8, 10 orders, almost all the time. For weeks now, business has been dead. And I've been okay with it. I'm not worried about it for me because, I've been wanting to do less work and just relax and work on my health. Perfect. But other people, this lady that owns the yarn shop downtown was telling me nobody's walking by. She owns a yarn shop right on Main Street, and usually she sits there because that's what she likes to do. She likes to sit there and gab with people. And usually there are tourists coming into town because they like our little old style town, right? And so they stay at the bed and breakfast downtown, and they like to walk around and buy touristy things and this and that. And by this time of the year, it's warm, and there should be a lot more tourists than there are now. There's not. It's because the gas prices are a lot higher and because people are in freaked out mode. That's why. So they're not buying as many pillows from me either. But luckily, I have a necessity item. And luckily, people are going to start thinking about real health. They're going to start thinking about, what is real health? Is it in these pill jars? Is it in these toxic pills from Pharmac, Pfizer, from Johnson and Johnson? People are going to start asking. See, because Pluto is in Aquarius. Pluto is a rebellious life and death kind of a planet. It's extreme. It amplifies things. Pluto in Aquarius says, hey, the fuck is going on? It wants to know how to do things differently, progressively, and other things. Mars in Aries also, and what's in Gemini now? A bunch of stuff is in Gemini, and that makes people start to think and reason and ask questions. there's a whole bunch of changes astrologically that are going on that are forcing change in this world on humanity. And thank God, because I've been waiting for people to start doing things more logically and to start getting real forever, it seems. I'm like needing more coffee. So I've been thinking about how to save money by buying in bulk. Like I buy these at the co-op, a 6-pack of these, and I get 20% off because I'm a member at the co-op. I buy a 12-pack of these and I get 20% off. The savings add up. And something else, the bread, the Simple Needs bread, I buy cases of that at the co-op and get 20% off. And so I try to buy things in bulk. I try to get coupons. And I'm trying to eat less of the more expensive things, specifically meat. Okay, so wild salmon is $18 a pound. So when I buy a big slab of that, I bought a big fat one, a big fat side slab of wild salmon a couple of weeks ago. And that thing weighed like 2 pounds, it was $35. $35, it was almost 2 pounds. That's a lot of money. So the less I can eat of that, the better. And so beans are cheap. Beans are not expensive. So the more, and this all adds up, right? You all know this, right? The more people can't afford meat, the more they have to eat beans. I know, Joe, I rock. Thank you. What is better, a Toyota Camry or a Toyota Corolla? Camrys are better, Joe. But Corollas are still good. So you realize that the more the meat gets expensive, and we've seen that, right? Everyone knows that meat is getting more and more expensive. Then it forces people to eat more alternative protein foods, beans. And you don't want to eat too much nuts and seeds, but a lot of people will need to eat a crap load of peanut butter to get off of that mass-produced high-fat junk meat. So that's the reality. That's just how it was for me, and that'll be the same as it is for other people. That's the purpose for peanuts, to get off of the junk meat that they've created. And so the goal for me, diet-wise, is to consume a leaner and leaner and cleaner diet. And so that all coincides perfectly with how I need to spend less money. And less food overall. How can you eat less food? Well, the calmer your mind is, and the cleaner your body is, and the more efficient your digestive system is, the less food that you'll need and the less food you'll eat. The tighter and smaller your digestive system is, and the more efficient it is, the less food you'll be able to eat. But the more nutrition you'll absorb. Have you ever wondered, like, well, how can somebody have such a small waist, such a small digestive system, but have all of that muscle? It's because they have an efficient digestive system. That's what you want. An efficient digestive system has a lot of those little villi in the small intestine. See, what celiac disease is, which is probably what I have and a lot of people have, is when you eat wheat, the villi in your small intestine get shorter and shorter. The more that happens, the less you're able to absorb nutrients in your digestive system. There's probably a lot of different reasons also, bacteria-wise and stomach-wise and nutritional juices-wise, that you are able to absorb and or not able to absorb nutrition from the food that you eat. But you know that if you think about it, stress is going to be a big factor. If you look at a person that's really stressed, oftentimes the people that are more stressed, the people that are more mental, like people that are geeks, for instance, think about how thin people that are geeky people, that are really mental people, are usually not as thick physically. Okay? It makes sense. A lot of you have thought about these things, right? If you think about things, if you analyze people, if you look at things, you can figure things out by just doing that. And so then you'll see some big, dumb, dorky dude that is just a muscle head. That's because he's not stressing about things. He's just going about his day. He doesn't think about anything. He doesn't worry about anything. Maybe if a person has a lot of spirituality, you can gain that benefit as well, because you just put all of your faith into Jesus or the Buddha or whoever it may be. It doesn't really matter. If you have faith in higher power, that's what they call it in AA. Okay, that's the first thing that they teach you in Alcoholics Anonymous. Think about it. The first thing that you are supposed to adapt when you go to Alcoholics Anonymous is that you believe in a higher power, something that is greater, bigger than humanity itself, than you yourself. A lot of people don't even have that. I can remember how I didn't have much thoughts or feelings about that kind of thing. But after you get into natural health, you have to, because there are times when you don't have the answers. It gives you the answers if you look around. But if you think that everything is just a coincidence, oh, that's just a coincidence. It's not. When you get a message from someone or something, think about it and ask yourself, well, does that really pertain in my life? It probably does. Sometimes you can figure it out. Sometimes it's not directly affecting your life to the point of where you can immediately figure it out. But if you put it in the back of your head for a while, eventually you will figure it out. Just say to yourself, okay, That could be a clue. That could be something that I need to listen to. Remember that. Put it in the back of your head the next day or two. Oh, that's what that meant. That's what it means. You'll figure it out. So, anyways, I've probably blabbed long enough tonight. Thanks for all those good participating things, Joe and Rafa. Thanks for the nice emojis, Michael Jackson. Do you guys think I do a good Michael Jackson? So yeah, thanks for joining me, and keep an eye out for a new massage tool coming out soon. I just have to finish it, and then we got to produce a few of them, get them on the website, etc. And then I'll make a video. And it's called the arm guillotine. The arm guillotine. I'm thankful for your video years ago about how to treat a carpal tunnel syndrome. After a lot of this painful self-massage, my time of pain was gone. Yeah, well, this new product that I'm about to show to start selling is a really cool product, and it's called the Arm Guillotine, and it squeezes your arm muscles. You slide your arm through it, and it squishes them and massages them. And it's got a couple of different blades that you can hook up to it. And it is squeezed together with rubber bands. And so they kind of do all the work for you. You just push your arm through it. And I've been using mine for a couple of months now, and it works great. It's a great, great tool. It's probably as good as any of the other massage inventions that I've created. And really good for carpal tunnel. And I used one yesterday morning. So anyways, thanks for joining me. I hope that you are well, and hope you benefited from some of this stuff that I said. I hope you're getting prepared for all the crazy changes that are going to happen. We're going to keep seeing, luckily, here's one of the cool things. The media picks out the most extreme things to put on the news, right? And they let everyone know, hey, look at this, blah, 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 blah. And they make it obvious, hopefully, for most people, that this particular thing is an issue that we need to deal with now. And whenever an issue is ready to be dealt with, the news will show that issue. And everyone will be like, hey, we need to deal with that. And I'll be like, oh, wow, you mean you're actually ready to start doing that now? Something that I've been thinking about for 30 years? You're going to actually start thinking about it now? You mean you're going to stop eating cheese? Wow, you're going to stop eating cheese now because it's actually linked to heart attacks? Are you kidding me? Really? And ear infections and sinus infections and these infections and that infections. You're going to stop eating dairy foods now because that dairy, consuming a food from another animal's mammary glands, is not natural for human beings. What if other animals were able to capture, what if an alien, right, What if aliens, millions of more powerful aliens, came to Earth and they really liked human milk? And so they're like, okay, well, we're going to breed humans, and then we're going to put these electric devices on their boobs to suck all the milk out of them all the time. And we're going to keep feeding them grain. We're going to put them in stalls. And we're going to keep feeding them Wonder Bread every day so they'll produce more and more grain. And then every day at 6 a.m. in the morning, we're going to hook these pumper machines up to their breasts, suck all of the milk out of them so that we can eat it. And so the aliens came and they took the humans as slaves, milk slaves, right? So that they could eat it. But guess what? It turned out that that milk was too much fat for the aliens, and the aliens started to get diseases. That is some funny shit, my friends. That is some funny shit. But that's the example. That's so that you understand the reality of dairy foods and the media, because the dairy industry has a lot of power. Them and other industries that humans allow to exist. Humans allow the dairy industry to exist because they buy into it. They don't realize, or they're ignorant, or they refuse to examine the reality, the facts, the this and that. They just don't see. They see people are getting bigger and fatter and fatter and fatter and more fat. And their faces, they look at pictures and they look at videos and they see themselves from a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And they're like, well, why is my face getting fatter and fatter and fatter? Why do I weigh 180 now when I weighed 140 2 years ago? What is it that's making me fatter and fatter? Why do I have more pimples? Why do I have more bad breath? Why is my wife complaining that I have stinky halitosis? Why does my shit stink worse than it used to? Why am I getting these infections and those infections, etc., etc., etc.? Could it be the cheese? Could it be the bread, the Wonder Bread? Could it be the donuts that I'm eating? Could it be the all of that junk chicken that I'm eating? It sure tastes greasy enough. Could it be all of that combined with sitting on the couch all the time and playing with this little device? You never know. Could it be that I just don't spend any time making healthy food for myself? I just stop at the McDonald's every day on the way home from work. That's what I see down here, 2 blocks from me. That's what I see every day. They have like a double line around the building, 2 car lines, not 1 car line, 2 car lines. So, anyways, that's what I think again. So thanks for joining me, everybody.